Welcome guys to Project Reliable. I'm restoring my 2005 Toyota Camry. So today we are going to be doing the valve cover gasket on this 2.4 liter inline 4. This is a 2AZ FE motor, and we will be having, as you see there, valve cover gasket. No issues actually. This motor came off really easily. But my first intuition that I was going to be doing a valve cover gasket was when I pulled out the coils for the first time I ever did on this car. Just took the spark plug and they were covered in oil. That was about 2,000 miles ago. So here we're going to check them again just to see how they are. As you can see, here's coil number 1. And it is also covered in oil. Now, when I originally pulled them out 2,000 miles ago, they were actually worse than that, but that's what we have right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of the coils out here, so we can get to the rest of the valve cover. So you're going to disconnect both the PCV valve on the back of the motor and the other valve on the front of the motor that connects to the air intake. You're also going to need to pull out the two 10mm on both sides of the motor. Right here, however, just to show you, we were leaking a little bit, just a little bit of oil runoff. Nothing too major, but again, most of it seems to be was internal. But come back to the motor here. All 8 bolts you need to disconnect, they're all going to be 10mm. So that's going to be 8 on the outside, 2 in the middle, and then 2 golden ones on each end. One holds that wiring harness on the left, the other one holds the coil pack wiring harness on the right. So as you can see, we're just going to keep going in here and do that. Again, they're all going to be 10mm Toyota. That's all you need to know. Just Toyota. So here we go. As you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and try to lift the valve cover off the motor. But we're going to encounter a little bit of resistance, and it's really right over there on that side with that wiring harness. As you can see, it just doesn't really want to come out, but enough willpower and figuring out that it's just pulled under the wire harness there, it will come out. There's just no doubt it's going to come out. So even if you have to force it out, it will come out. As you can see here it is, well on its way out of the motor. And for a 2005 with 220,000 miles on it, the top of this valve cover looks really clean and really well done. The valve cover gasket itself still looks relatively good and intact. So honestly, it probably could have gone a few more 1,000 miles before actually truly needing the replacement. But since I had a small oil leak issue, I went ahead and fixed it. Again, this is Project Reliable, and we were trying to make this car reliable, not only for me, but for potentially a future owner. So here I go. I'm just going to clean it out with a little bit of gunk in there. Nothing too bad, nothing shiny, and that's what's really important here. So as you can see here, just going to unpackage the new valve cover gasket and put it on, starting with the spark plug holes. They are a little tight the first time you put them on, so you just got to make sure that they stay in place. Alright, now that we have that, we're just going to make sure everything's nice and tight and in place before we move on to applying a little bit of gasket maker to the crack between the timing cover and the engine block. Also, we're going to go ahead here and start wiping away all oil that's on the outside where the gasket was, just to make sure that that area is clean. I'm also going to go ahead and pat this down a little bit more just to make sure that that gasket is made and that we're not going to have any issues. But as you can see, look at those 2 overhead cams right there, and they look beautiful. Again, 220,000 miles, 20 years of wear and tear, and it still looks that good. That is Toyota. So unfortunately, I accidentally pressed pause while I was trying to figure out a way to put the Velcro on. There is a 10mm bolt or washer on the alternator. You take that off and unplug it all. you can actually get a little bit more clearance, which makes it easier to put the valve cover back on. Just make sure that the valve cover doesn't slip when you're putting it back on. Mine did a little bit, but I was able to take a little screwdriver and just kind of push it back in place. And otherwise than that, that was the only little slippage that I had. Nowhere else in the motor did it slip, and everything got back into place pretty easy. Again, this is a Toyota. I will not stress this enough. This was the easiest repair I have ever done on an engine because everything was the exact same size. Everything was 10 millimeters. So as you can see here now, we're putting the coils back in, tightening them down into place. Reconnecting them. My coils don't have the little clip anymore on them, unfortunately. But as you can see here, everything is down into place and snug. So now we're going to go ahead and start the motor. Alright, with the motor humming away, its little tune, sounding absolutely fantastic, I realized that this shot's a little close. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the motor from a little bit of a distance, just so you can see. Also, don't mind that zip tie, it will be taken out sooner or later in Project Reliable. This is Project Reliable for Project Reliable, my 2005 Toyota Camry. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.